Okay, welcome back to another Assetto Corsa video. Today we're going to be looking at another PS4 setup, this time driving the 458 GT2 around Imola. So for this lap we actually ran two different versions up, with the second version which I'm going to show you after the setup is finished. This version we ran the traction control on level 12, just gives a little bit more safety net on some of the corners, but running it off was pretty much identical as you're seeing from the lap I did at the end. So we're going to start our lap looking out for the 200 yard board on the right. We're going to brake just past that, slowly downshifting, and be careful on the brake as we downshift. Obviously this car has no ABS, we're not running ABS for this setup as you can't run it online, so we're trying to keep it to the same as you have online. Going through into 5th gear, then we're going to brake down into 4th gear as we just go past 100 there on the right, and going down into 4th gear and then back into 3rd gear before we hit the right hander there. Then on the power as early as we can to feed the power through to this tight left hander. Be careful again on the brakes. You got to try and keep this car as tight to the inside of this left hander as possible, just so you can get on the power as early as possible. This will then give you extra speed and momentum up the hill now, as you see. Looking out for the 50 yard board on the right, braking down into 4th gear, into 3rd gear, hitting the apex nicely on the power as early as we can. Then going into 4th gear, into 5th gear briefly before we go back down to 4th gear. As we just before the 50 yard board on the left, we go down into 4th, then 3rd gear. For this we're going to stay in 3rd gear. You can do that in 2nd gear, so I'll show you on the next video. After this setup video we do it in 2nd gear, but we keep that in 2nd for this one. Going down in between the 150 we're going to brake there, going down into 2nd gear, taking as much curb as we can without unsettling the rear. On the powers really carefully there, just be careful not to put the power on too soon or you might spin out. Going through the gears into 5th gear and then into 6th gear briefly before we go back down into 2nd gear for this left hander. We go down, be careful again, the car can lock up its tyres on that downhill part. It's a really risky area. Obviously on the PC version for this car you can adjust the brake pressures. As you can see, we nearly ran wide there. We lost a bit of time. I think we lost maybe 2-3 tenths there. We lost control back and lost a lot of momentum down the straight. I really think we could have got this into a 154 pretty easily if we would have just got a perfect lap in. So anyway, yeah, like I was saying, on the PC version you can run the setup to have brake pressure changes like on the project cars, which is a massive help for this type of car, but on PS4 we don't get that option on PS4. So going through the setup, as you see there with the general, brake bias 66, aero 02 felt really nice for this car. Gearing, make sure you take down the gears. I have changed a few of them gearing to help out with the corners, etc. Coast, we've got it on 85. Again, that's because of PS4 version we can't change the brake pressures, so we've got to get as much support to the lack of ABS as we can. Tyres, we ran soft tyres, not the super softs. I didn't try the super softs as they're a bit too didn't really give much heat resistance through some of the corners, so it's the soft tyres were the better tyre for me. Looking at some of the other changes we made, slight changes to the cambers and the toe and the springs, just to try and give more support to the rear. Obviously the anti-roll bars were changed as well to help us over the curbs. Slightly lower on the rear obviously and higher on the front. That just gives us better balance through going over the curbs. Dampers, we made slight changes to the bump stop and some of the rebounds on the rear, just to give us a bit more support again on the rear end. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you the lap without any assists. We'll show you some of the other corners where you can take in a different gear. I think I changed the gear on that corner, which we'll go through now. So again, we're starting our lap. Try and get a clean exit if you can. You can see there we're running 0 on the traction control. You can see it on the bottom left. If you have a look just on the bottom left on the dials, it says traction control 0 this time. Now this wasn't my fastest lap with traction control. I've actually done a 0.2 with traction control off, but it was scruffy. It just wasn't a nice lap. I don't know how I got a 0.2. It's really strange on a Assetto Corsa. Sometimes you seem to overdrive the car. It doesn't feel nice, but you come out with a really fast time. I don't know if there's some sort of like, I don't know if there's something that some runs has more grip than other runs. It's really weird, but for this run it was a fairly smooth run. No real mistakes. The only real error we had again was locking up the tyres going downhill at the end of the lap, which we'll get to in a minute. We maybe put the power on a bit too early there. We've got a little bit of a twitchy back end, but we managed to maintain the speed and keep quite nice momentum going up the hill. So when we come to this corner now, I don't know if we did this in 4th gear for this one. You can actually do this corner as well in 4th gear if you get it right and you get it in on the apex nicely. You can stay in 4th gear and actually gain a good 2-3 tenths of a second through that corner. Now this is where we made the difference. Now you'll see from the other lap, we went down into 2nd gear, got on the power as early as we can, but the only thing you don't see seems to like is spin up the rears a bit, and you lose a bit of traction coming out of that corner. So I don't really know what the best way to do that is. I prefer doing it third, really. It kind of kept the car a lot more secure, but as you see, the lap times are very similar. I think this overall lap is a 1:45.4, the other lap was a 0.3, so it's not my fast lap. I have done a 0.2, but like I say, it was just really weird. I didn't really want to upload it because the lap looked horrible. You can see there we locked that right front tyre up again. It's such an issue that I hope they actually patch into the PS4 version that you can change the brake pressures, because running this car with no ABS with 100% brake pressure is not ideal. When on the PC you can just, which I'll do a setup on this soon, and I'll lower it down to probably 85%, etc., and it will drive so much better, this car. Anyway, there's the lap with no assist compared to a lap with traction control on the weakest setting. You can still run a pretty fast time with the traction control on the strongest setting, and still was able to get into a very late 45 with it on the strongest setting. So for the race, you may want to play with the traction control to keep the tyres, because if you lock these tyres up, they just build the heat up instantly. So just pay attention to the tyre temperatures with this car. Anyway guys, I'll leave you with the footage from this lap, like I said. Make sure you leave a like and a subscribe for further videos, and we'll try and get a PC set up for a GT2 car out as well soon. I have got another setup on the PC done for the Porsche Cup 2017 GT3 Cup car on this track as well. Another nice car to drive. It's obviously a bit slower than these cars because you have to run the hard tyres, so it's another good setup though. It felt really nice to drive. Anyway guys, thanks for watching, and I'll be back with more videos soon.